And welcome back to Touchline Talk. It is time to jump into what's next as we close out our show here today, starting with today's Europa League action. Just like the Champions League started, Europa League gets underway with everybody playing this afternoon. Some of your more interesting, higher profile matchups, not necessarily higher profile teams. Bayer Leverkusen and Nice, you got a Bundesliga League A matchup. Nice currently in 4th, Leverkusen in 9th in their respective leagues. Hasn't been the greatest starts for Leverkusen in the post-Kai Havertz era. Nice have been one of the more consistent teams in League A. Of course, they're not PSG. They haven't been as good as Lille. Rennes is also up there, but an interesting test for both of these teams to sort of see where they're at, and also this could be the beginning of a nice run in Europe. Both of these teams are capable of making it to the later stages of this tournament. You also have Napoli against AZ Alkmaar from the Netherlands. Napoli, despite forfeiting and having a point docked, are 4th in Serie A. They are right there with AC Milan in terms of the most informed teams in that league. I am tempted to even put them ahead of Atalanta. They're playing really well right now. AZ is not off to the greatest start. They're currently 11th in the Eredivisie. This is a game Napoli should win. And if they can keep putting together these results, both domestically and in the Europa League, it's going to be harder and harder for me to keep them out of the top spot in my top 25 in terms of Italian teams. Right now I've got Atalanta there. I still want to see a little bit more from Napoli, but when they've been able to play their games, they've been phenomenal, and I expect them to continue that today. PSV Granada. PSV just ahead of Ajax in the Eredivisie standings early on. Granada currently 6th in La Liga. It's really a shame that we don't get PSV and Ajax in the Champions League, because PSV is right there competing with Ajax. Were right there last season, are every bit as good. They're absolutely a team that can win this competition. And again, this is a way to build the Eredivisie's stature, reputation, whatever word you want to use, by going and being a team who's performed well in a big league. I like this PSV team. Again, I think they can win this competition. I wouldn't necessarily pick them to, but this is equivalent to Ajax. You can flip a coin between the two right now. And then one of your cooler matchups of the day, AC Milan, again, in fabulous form, coming off of that win over Inter in the Milan derby against Celtic, who, we haven't mentioned this yet, but just lost in the Old Firm derby to Rangers, which is something that very rarely happens these days. So you've got the opposite ends of the spectrum here. AC Milan is coming off of a thrilling derby win. Celtic is coming off of an incredibly disappointing derby loss. And now they play each other. These are the kind of teams that AC Milan has been dispatching with relative ease so far. I expect them to do the same, but you never want to rule out Celtic in European competition. And like I said, this is just a really cool matchup. The kind of things that make the Champions League and the Europa League fun. But AC Milan is really, really playing well right now. Playing as well as pretty much anybody in the world, save Bayern, maybe. I mean, they've just been remarkably consistent through Europa League qualifying and playing lesser Serie A teams, and then they get their crosstown rivals and beat them too. Zlatan is doing Zlatan things. They are in fine form. Then we go to Saturday, where we've got more derbies, starting with El Clasico. This comes at a really interesting time where Barcelona, again, lose over the weekend, take care of business against one of the worst teams in the Champions League, as expected. And you got Real Madrid coming off these back-to-back losses, and this pressure is mounting on Zidane, and this result is going to go a long way in determining what the mood at Real Madrid is in the near future. Because if they can find a way to win this game and start turning things around, take care of business in the Champions League, you can very quickly forget about this past week. But if Messi gets the better of them, and you're staring another loss in the league on the heels of a rather embarrassing Champions League loss, and getting outplayed by a team that you should handle before that, there starts to be some real questions. And if this is a draw, again, it just opens that door a little bit further for Real Sociedad, Atletico Madrid, Sevilla, somebody to really step in and make this a title race outside of just Real Madrid and Barcelona. Barcelona's perspective, this is an opportunity to take hold of La Liga. Real Madrid is going to drop points along the way. So if you can just get ahead and build a little bit of a lead, then you've got that cushion for these wacky results we've seen. I'm not convinced by Barcelona either, but aside from this weekend, they have been fairly consistent. You got to give Ronald Koeman and his team that much. You got to give them that. So this is a different kind of El Clasico, but a very intriguing one nonetheless. Then you have Manchester United, Chelsea. I want to see United continue to perform the way that they did against PSG for me to start really believing they can finish in the top four. I'm just not convinced. I've said that multiple times at this point. And this is a good test for Chelsea too, because I'm just gonna start calling it the Mendy theory. If they can keep Edouard Mendy healthy in net and he plays the way he has been and what you would expect based on what he did at Rennes, and you can keep Ben Chilwell healthy at left back, I really think this is setting up nicely for Chelsea. I'm not as close to the panic button as I think most people are about Frank Lampard and his team right now. Kepa, to me, just has a lot to do with the defensive struggles they've had. If they can stop killing themselves and inflicting their own mistakes on themselves, this title's there for the taking. Whether that's Spurs, whether that's Chelsea, with the injuries that Liverpool has and the fact that Van Dijk's probably not going to be back, this would go a long way to really putting some distance between Chelsea and Manchester United in my mind if Chelsea can win. Your other derby of note, Dortmund-Schalke. Schalke have a Bundesliga worst -14 goal differential. They're in 17th place in the relegation zone right now. I didn't put this on here because I think it's going to be a close game, but it's one of those derbies that you just never know, and Schalke could come out there and win. It's a tricky game for Dortmund just because of the rivalry and the intensity, but last time they played this game, they took care of business no problem. So it's just another derby on a weekend of derbies, which is always good when we get those kind of rivalries. And then we go to Sunday, Arsenal, Leicester City. Both of these teams have 9 points from their 5 games, near the top of the Premier League table. And again, if one of them can find a way to put a really good run together, who knows? I really think this Premier League is wide open at this point. To me, it's Manchester City's to lose, but they need to do more for me to convince me that it's not an open race, that they really are in control and somebody's going to have to take it from them. We'll see whether Arsenal can be one of the teams that really puts a challenge together. Again, they've been good so far. They've already had to play both Liverpool and Man City. Played them tough, didn't take any points away from it, but they've done a good job with everybody else. Leicester is hopeful to get Jamie Vardy back for this game. They're also just decimated right now. It seems like the center back is not going to be a problem without Sionchu based on what Fofana did against Aston Villa. But you're still missing so many pieces. And some of them aren't coming back for a little while still. When you're talking about Wilfred Ndidi, Ricardo Pereira, Sionchu. So if they can get Vardy back, that would be a huge boost, obviously. And Arsenal being one of his favorite opponents to pounce on, that his health might make the difference in this game for me. I really like Arsenal's chances if he doesn't play. If he plays, then it's pretty much an even matchup from my perspective. Over in France, you've got Lille versus Nice. Already talked about Nice being in fourth. Lille, first place in Ligue 1 right now. PSG is hot on their trail and probably will catch them pretty soon. But it's Lille's league for the moment. And this is the kind of game that they've got to find a way to win if they're going to mount any kind of title challenge to PSG. I think they're the only team in position to really contend. I don't think they're going to. And if they lose this game and PSG does what they're supposed to this weekend, that could pretty much seal Ligue 1 for PSG. We're delaying the inevitable, in my opinion, but Lille could make things interesting, at least for a while longer, if they can win this one. And then finally, you've got a couple derbies in Major League Soccer. Seattle and Portland play tonight. And then you've got El Tráfico on Sunday. Galaxy have got to find a way to get some momentum going if they're going to make the playoffs. They had that really nice run that included an El Tráfico win, and then it's fallen apart since. LAFC just kind of rolling along, dealing with injuries, not anywhere near full strength, but they're finding a way to get results and staying up there near the top of the West. And it's just so hard to know what to predict in this game at this point. We've had everything this season from LAFC ripping the Galaxy to shreds in Orlando to the Galaxy winning. We haven't gotten quite as many dramatic, late, really close-knit games like we did the first couple seasons, where it was sort of the same thing, where it was either a draw or the Galaxy would come back and win, and it was captivating. Hasn't been the same this season, but at the end of the day, it's one of the better rivalries in Major League Soccer, regardless of whether fans are there or not. And this is if LAFC can get this thing going a little bit and get some players back before the postseason, I'm still not ruling out them winning MLS Cup. But a lot of it's going to have to do with the form and health of their players heading into the postseason. So getting a win over your rivals is a good way to start building that and picking up some wins and some momentum as you head into the playoffs. That's all we've got for today. Be sure to check out Chris Brown and Around the Bases, 1 p.m. Eastern, right here on 110 Sports Live. Got an off day in the World Series, so he's got all of your reaction to the Rays tying things up at 1 last night. Josh Mulnox will be back tomorrow morning with his show, as always. That is all for Touchline Talk today. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you Tuesday.